It may sound crazy, but body shops actually sand cars right after they paint them, and today I'm going to be explaining exactly why they do that. So, in order to understand, first we have to understand paint and the layers of it. In a car, you have three layers, and not three layers of paint, just three layers. So we have the primer, then we have the base coat, and then we have the clear coat. Essentially, what the primer does is it makes all the surface consistent, so you don't have imperfections in your paint because different areas have different like suction or the suction of that paint. So different areas don't absorb it the same. You have inconsistency. So primer makes everything consistent. So if you have a damaged area, you sand it down, and then you add the plaster, and then you add the primer, and then you add the base coat. So what is the base coat? The base coat is the actual color of your car, and then on top of that base coat, you have clear coat. So that's the glossy element, the shine. So when a car gets damaged, they apply all these layers again to that area, but the imperfection that tends to happen, and the reason they sand it after they paint it, is because sometimes it gets orange peel, and then there's another reason we'll also go into as well. So this is orange peel. It is essentially when the clear coat doesn't lay down flat. And the painter will usually say it's not laying flat today, and there could be a bunch of reasons that could be happening. The gun may not be set to the right setting. It might not have been mixed properly. The temperature and humidity outside might be affecting the paint. It's very technical, but what you need to do is you need to sand it down. So when you sand it and make it smooth, what you have now is little grooves in your actual clear coat. Now, here's the clear coat, here's the base coat, and here's the primer. So you sand it with the extremely high grit sandpaper. So when you sand it with the extremely high grit sandpaper, it only makes the grooves in the clear coat, and it'll make the clear coat look really hazy. So after it looks really hazy, what you need to do is buff it. And when you buff it, the actual wax goes into these little grooves that the sandpaper makes. Now you might be wondering, doesn't washing the car just wash out all of the wax after you've just waxed it? And the answer to that is no. And here's the reason why. So let's get our blue here. So here's the reason why. This is extremely, extremely small. So 5,000 grit sandpaper will feel completely smooth if you actually put your thumb on it. So here is a droplet of water. Now I had to kind of swerve it around my pee there, but yeah, it would be like this. It'd be sitting on top of the surface of the clear coat. Now the water tension is preventing the actual bubble or the droplet of water from breaking and going into these grooves. So essentially what that means is the water simply will not break and will not fit into the actual small grooves that the sandpaper and the sandpaper creates and the wax goes into. So that simply means when you wash your car, the water will roll right over it. It won't go into the grooves, and then this will get all clear again, and you will get a smooth, even clear coat. So that is why body shops will sand. That is why body shops will actually sand a car right after they paint it. Now there's another reason they'll sand a car, and I'll explain that as well here. Second reason they sand a car is to do consistency. So when you do a patch job, even if you use the same exact color, there's something called fading over time, that the sun damages the actual paint over time, and if you use the same paint that the shop used or the factory used, it'll still look different. So the second reason they will sand the actual clear coat is to blend it with the rest of the paint. So I hope you guys could see that. My camera isn't focusing properly right now. It looks super. You could barely see that, but here's my little door handle. Beautiful window. So say you have a damaged spot right here. They'll repair it. They'll paint it. They will clear coat it. But then they will sand it at a much wider area. Now, why did they do that? Because when you paint it, it doesn't look consistent with the rest of it. So when you sand it out further than you painted it and then wax it, it'll blend and mix in with the rest of the paint, and it won't be that visible to the naked eye. So that is the second reason they sand your paint right after, not right after, but after it dries, and then they'll buff it, and it'll look much smoother, much more consistent, much nicer. So those are the reasons why a car gets sanded right after they paint it, and then they buff it, and then it looks nice and shiny. So hope you guys learned something new. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you like this video in general, hit that subscribe button, because I'm an informative guy and you guys definitely want to be around here. If you're not around here, then don't be around here. But for the people that want to be here, you'll learn a bunch of stuff. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next one.